G'day listeners, welcome to Bar Karate, the sailing podcast for another week of sailing news and discussions. We are still in the phase of doing the interview specials, so we are continuing on with that this week. So to get that underway, let me bring in my good friend Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, Exalted One.
Hey buddy.
Sailing fitness.
What?
Sailing fitness. Who would have thought that this time, in isolation, would have led to such a downcast in my sailing fitness? We were allowed to go sailing on Saturday, and it just so happened to be, let's say 20 knots or so. We were blasting around on a new etual. Haven't done lots of etual sailing in my life, but my God, I've come off the water sore.
Right. Were you sailing when you were out there?
Yes. No, I was driving around in the rib. No, absolutely sailing hard, full training.
Good.
Yeah, it was intense.
Good. It's funny, I must admit, driving, I spend all my time in a coach boat these days, and I get other people to do it, and the thought of actually getting on a boat at the moment scares the living crap out of me, to tell you.
It's true. Yeah. Everyone's going to get back on a boat thinking they're all excited. They're going to go hammer and tongs, and they're going to be fully out there the next day. They're going to be just going, oh my God. Anyway.
Well, let's get Bice in.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Mr. Nick Bice, welcome to the show.
Speaking of fitness, man, there's a fitness that you also develop in sailing, which everyone's been working on very hard.
I'll drink to that.
So I'm guessing you didn't lose that one, BP.
I don't think I ever have.
No, exciting times. Starting to see a few boats pack out in the water. Starting to check out some posts of everyone essentially getting out there, which is it's cool. It's light at the end of the tunnel. Who knows when it's actually going to happen, like from a full capacity and we're back to regattas. But
I can say
it's good.
I can say that the word was out. The Cruising Yacht Club of Australia are going to start the winter series on Sunday, the 7th of June. However, it's kind of funny because they're saying you're not allowed to use spinnakers.
Oh, yeah, well, COVID, of course. I mean,
you don't want to sneeze. You don't want to sneeze into a spinnaker, do you?
Can I just point out? Obviously, we're a global podcast. People listen all around the world. Obviously, in Australia, we're better positioned than a lot of the rest of the world. So we have pretty much zero cases going on at the moment, and so they're starting to loosen things off. We are fully aware that other parts of the world, it's an absolute disaster zone, and we are incredibly sympathetic to you. And sucked in because we're going sailing.
Well, despite all the heartfelt,
No, I felt I was being too soft there. I'm always the serious one. No, not sucked in at all. I don't mean that at all. I was just trying to go for humour.
But I guess what I'd like to say to everyone once they do get the green light, just to don't go out there full bore like I did on Saturday. I thought I was where I was.
It's the only way you're meant to do stuff. I went full driving on the weekend. I went out full bore and almost rolled the bastard.
I know. I saw it. And I think everyone else did as well. And those who didn't should get onto it and have a look. But point is that we went
at Defenders Oz Instagram.
The influence of Nick Bice.
We don't get paid by any of these people, and we plug a lot of people for not being paid, Bicey.
It'll come back one day.
One day.
Anyway, all I was saying was I've gone out and I've gone full bore, and I'm paying for it.
Well, have a beer.
All good.
Have a beer.
I am.
Here.
Actually, on that point, we will be talking about the taste testing, and we will be talking about the T-shirts.
Yes.
Nathan, if you're listening, we've got a couple of ideas for nicknames for the Japanese SailGP team. So we'll touch on them a bit later. But first off, we've got another episode of Conversations.
Fantastic. And we look forward to this one. And it is one with one of the greatest yachting families
in the world,
known to mankind in our recent times.
Yeah.
So
I think the word royalty gets brought up every now and again.
And, shall I drop the hints? We might as well bring the guest in. I'll just load
let's do it.
So
don't want to hear us any longer.
If you're Brazilian, it's your time to shine. Our guest is 2014 World Sailor of the Year, 2016 Olympic gold medalist, 2014 49er FX world champion, 2009 youth world champion. Her father is a gold medalist, had been to 5 Olympics, has won the Volvo, but done 3 races. Her brother went to the Olympics. Her uncle also sailed at the Olympics. There's 8 Olympic medals within the family. As BP just said, absolute sailing royalty. So I just want to say thanks for joining us, Martine Grael. My first question to you, how did you get into sailing?
Thanks for having me here. I first got into sailing through my mom. And she, my mom's a very keen Europe sailor, and she still sails today. She has some great sails outside the bay in Rio. It's just a shame that she doesn't do it more often because she loves it. She always comes back with a big smile, and for that reason, she used to keep on sailing after we were born. You know, we were 2 very small kids, because it was the only way she could go sailing is if she took us. So we would both fit on each side of the centerboard, and just go for a nice ride. And that was so much fun for us. And eventually there were some moments like one of us would fall in the water. She would just chuck the other one and say, when you're done having fun on the water, I'll pick you back up. Just so that we didn't get traumatized, from
Martine, it's BP
anything.
Here. Martine, it's BP here. So your earliest memory, do you feel the wind? Do you remember those moments? Do you remember those times vividly?
Yeah, my early memories actually were not in the Europe. I didn't remember that pretty much. But in the Opties, my mom would take us for cruise rides, so we'd just go along the bay. It was never racing. And I remember her asking me to try to touch my hair in the water hiking. Yep. And just the going around the bay was all these memories of like having the freedom of going wherever I want. It was motivating. But I going forwards now, like we travel a lot with my parents. My dad especially, he was doing Olympic sailing, America's Cup all at the same time. So we, as a family, moved quite often. We spent 4 years, 6 months at a time in New Zealand and in Italy. So that was a really a moment that at first we didn't sail because it was just too hard to fit the sailing with all the moving of the family. And then, we always loved sailing, and then eventually when we got older, we started doing Opti racing in New Zealand when we were there, and we were sailing out of Murray's Bay, and it was pretty nice because we could sail during the week as well after school. And for us in Brazil, that's not very common for kids to sail during the week.
How did you go to school?
Yeah.
So you're between Italy in Punta Ala, right? Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're in Auckland and a bit of Brazil now and then.
We study through correspondence, like mail, and we in New Zealand we did school as well. So we did 2 schools. It was pretty annoying. Yeah, sure.
Did you enjoy New Zealand? Did you enjoy
learning Kiwi language?
I wasn't going to go that far, Bicey, but
I didn't know anything about English until I went before I went there. Very briefly, like I am, you are. But when I went there, so I learned there. And for me, the school there was very mind-opening because it was very sport-driven.
Yep.
And I always loved sports. And in Brazil, it's a bit different. It's more like classrooms, a bit more boring. So when I was at home, I was always looking forward for the weekends where I could go sailing.
Yeah. So you enjoyed your time in New Zealand then? It was important for you?
Yeah. And the last cup, we did a lot of racing as Opties. My mom was pretty good at taking us around. We didn't have a roof rack, and we would put a cushion and put
You didn't have a roof rack?
No, and we had a car, a very small car, and we would put 2 Opties, 2 on top with each other, and tie it through the window.
Bicey,
it was very
Bicey, stop it there, Martine. She didn't have a roof rack, mate.
Well, when I'm not sure, but I'm taking a guess. Maybe the team was sponsored by Fiat, and you had a Fiat. What are they called? Punto or a Fiat 500?
Punto.
And if you put a roof rack on it, it'll roll over. So you had to put a cushion on top.
Oh, I love that.
Okay.
I love
See?
the approach. And
Yeah.
so, but I mean, you went sailing all the time. That was great. Your mum's obviously a real supporter, huh?
Yeah, so I think she took the biggest part in making us into sailing. And I think the approach that she did with not getting us into competitive sailing straight away, it was very nice because we learned
love it. Yeah.
like to sail, you know. And then eventually, like all our friends were going racing, and then we started racing as well.
So how old was that? At what age was that?
I've started to go sailing at 4, but that was my mom said I would always cry when I would go in the boat. So I say that I started sailing at 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm interested, like you're saying in New Zealand, you know, the amount of sport that you could do at school was a great thing.
Yeah.
Was it, if you hadn't taken up sailing, what other sport were you really interested in?
I don't know. I was the kind of girl that would, you know, if we had Olympics in school, I would just tick every single box of sports I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But now, if I would say it now, I would, you know, really keen into surfing, climbing, and outdoor sports. So maybe not an Olympic sport. I mean, actually, surfing and climbing are now Olympic, but not. I just really like the outdoor stuff. But the competition, I don't know. I really got into the competition in sailing, but I think that was the thing that came over time. And I was really bad in the beginning, and then later on, I really got hooked in when I went through the 420 class, and I had a really good group. And I think that relates a lot to the kids I see today. The good racers, like the good teams, they go along as big groups, and then you have one that comes out, like spikes out. And I don't think you can make good sailors that all along they've sailed alone. I don't know.
Yeah. So you were saying, so what you're saying is that you didn't really become good until you got to train against a lot of other people that were good, and then you just learnt. And
no, in the opties, I train against other people, but it was only in the 420 that I really got the spark for the competition.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
So who were you? Sorry, go on, BP.
Sorry. Okay, so you know, you just mentioned a second ago that you know, you can have train in a group, and then there'll be one person that'll rise above the rest, and you know, but you've risen above the rest. You've won a copious amount of championships. Did your father have much input? Your mother have much input? Where did you gain that input from?
I think it was a very long process, actually. I don't think I've always known that I wouldn't be a good sailor just because of my family name.
Fair
and
enough.
that was very clear for me.
You had
so
to work
I've always
hard.
tried to
You had to work hard
to work it out, you know. So I did a lot of sailing, like I think since I was I don't know, in my teenager years. I just sailed every day I could. And when I did my university exam, I've only got in for the second semester. So I got a full semester of just doing whatever I wanted. And so I went sailing basically every day. And I think the most time you're connected to the boat, the most time or you're on top of the boat, you know, the more you learn. And I think my first Olympic campaign as well taught me so much. And what nobody knows is that, you know, I've done really bad so many times before I could finally like start having good results.
I guess the question I'm asking is, you know, did you ask your father and your mother for advice all the time? Did you try and get that, you know, that sort of input from them?
Of course. I mean, having almost an encyclopedia at home is very stupid of you if you don't ask questions. But I think more than asking questions, I got asked questions by my father.
Yeah.
And those were very interesting. So when I was starting midway through 420, I was sailing with a girl. I was actually crewing, and my father asked if I liked sailing for just for fun and for traveling and staying around with friends, or if I liked racing. And we had different opinions, me and my crew. And that was clear for me that I really liked racing. And I wanted to keep on racing and trying to get more serious if I could, you know. And then and when I was teenager and just turning into the 470, my first Olympic class, I got a question from my coordinator in the university, and she asked me what was more important. It was studying or doing the physical preparation for sailing. And then for me, it was quite clear.
Quite
For me, it was more
yeah.
important to do my physical preparation than
Absolutely.
to study. And then for me, that question was clear for me that I was going professional at that moment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So I've got asked a few questions in my life that was quite changing, life-changing.
So the question though, because you won the Youth Worlds in the 420s in 2009, and you won the Olympics with the gold at home. So your Youth Worlds, I think you won in Brazil as well. But you started sailing with Kahina. You won those 420 Youth Worlds with Kahina, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you guys.
It was a very random process. So I did sail with 3 different crews in the 3 different teams in the 420. The first one was the one that maybe didn't want to do so much racing. And then I got into this second team. It's one of my best friends now. And she really got me into that racing mode, and we were a team. But there was this Youth Worlds that we couldn't do together because she was too old. And the same thing happened to Kahina's skipper. So we were doing a chat in the club 2 years before, and it was very clear that in 2 years we would be sailing together, because we were the only two teams at that age that could do the Worlds. We still had to qualify yet, and then that was it. You know, for 1 year or 6 months, we separated from our original crews and sailed the Youth Worlds. And 2 months later, I came back to my previous team. It was pretty funny. My dad couldn't see how that could work out.
Yeah.
I was swapping crews all the time.
Yeah.
But and then we followed our own paths again, and kind of took into studying. And I did a full cycle of 3.5 years of Olympic campaigning with Isabel in the 470. In the 470.
Yep.
And that was before I started. I did ask both my crews in the 420 if they wanted to do, but I think at the moment it was very uncertain path to take. And as Isabel, she had already had a bronze medal, and she had so much baggage, and she was skiing, and it was the best decision we could have taken, because I had a very steep learning curve with her. And I think what she had more important was she had a very good talk with the sponsors. So she harnessed our first sponsor, because the federation didn't sponsor us at all in that cycle. So we didn't have any penny from the federation. It was quite hard seeing the other team fully supported by the federation, and we were just having to fight for any penny, you know. It was really hard not being able to train and not able to have the best ways to do the training, because we needed more money.
Yeah.
And that cycle, it was super cool. You know, looking back now, I see how much we fought for everything. And we were just in a big ladder up, you know. We were just like climbing at every championship. We could see the evolution. And I think in sailing, when you get to such a top level, it's super hard to see that evolution, because the learning curve, you know, gets quite flat.
Yep.
And that beginning was so cool. And we got 2 top sevens, 2 sevens in the Worlds and 1 8. And I think that for the first Olympic campaign was very cool. But then we didn't qualify for the games. Mm-hmm. We had, the selection was 3 championships. One was the World that we won, and then one at home was a match racing. I had really little experience, and I could feel that. And I was so disappointed not going to the Olympics. So disappointed, because I was there to watch the opening ceremony, and I wasn't there, So for me, that was the biggest frustration I have had. When I saw the first sailors, I could recognize them going through, and I cried so much that night, and I told myself that I would never be in that position again.
Determined.
And Bernardinho, the volleyball Olympic coach, he's so many medals. He gave us a speech, a lot of young people, and he said, use the bottom of the well, just put a spring there and jump even higher afterwards, And I really took that in, and I've wanted to start the 2016 campaign, not having to look back at anything, because there wasn't any stone unturned, and that everything I could have done, I would have done. So I think it was a pretty nice cycle, because we've actually put every single effort and every single piece of it, and we couldn't have done any better. But still, we arrived at the games, and we were not we were still tied. The 4 first boats were almost tied in points. It's not that we were so much better than the other girls.
No.
It was, the whole cycle was very cool, but it was all the events we were fighting through. The last race, the last leg,
it was it was a full-on enjoyable event.
Yes, it was.
And even more enjoyable because you won.
Well, and probably almost more enjoyable from a family point of view, because you had bragging rights over your brother Marco, who came 11th right in the 49ers, and you took the gold. So.
Yeah, my brother, he sailed the 49er before I did. And his team at first, before, when I was in the 470, it was pretty hard for him. He had to move to the south of Brazil, and he also had that steep learning curve, but just in a more harsh way, I guess. Ways a bit harsher to one another. And I did look up at him, and he helped me so much when we were starting. Just to give the dumbass advice that I would never know when I was first going out. And I actually only got to sail the 49er because he broke his rib. And then I got a try with Cayena. He had a month off because he had a broken rib. Yeah. So I took his boat. And then when I sailed with Cayena, I was like, yeah, I think this could work. And
it definitely did.
Yeah. So thankfully to him, I'm here where I am now.
Well, let's actually, because you brought it up, let's talk about that last race at the Olympics when you won gold. For those, I'll just give the rundown for those who don't know, because it was between Brazil, New Zealand,
Denmark and
Spain. And it literally went down to the last race. And I remember the Kiwis, Alex and Molly, went off. They started at the pin. And you started in the middle.
He's not bad, is he? Hey? He's not bad.
And then you started in the middle, and the Kiwis went to the top mark first, and then you guys were second, and then you split at the gate. They went to the right gate, and you went to the left gate, and you crossed. You got to the top mark in the lead, and finished just 2 seconds in front of them at the finish line. It was insane.
Yeah, it was 3 laps. It was actually a little bit more boring than it seems. But before the races, we had so many other medal races to watch. And a good friend came to us and said, I think there's a lot you can do of just not. So coming up to that race, it was really emotional the day before. Santiago Langhi.
What did you say? Just not what at the start?
Not it up in the start. Sorry, can I say it?
You certainly can.
You can. I just had to do it again. Sorry, Martine. I had to do it.
Yeah, I have to go and beep it.
It's so easy to get nervous and just not following the easy, step to step. So we had race with those girls, and we had been on that situation so many times. Our worlds that we won in 2014, it was in the last leg. And, so many events before that, we've always had it until the last day, the last leg. So before going to that race, we just thought, this could be just another event, another training race, because we trained with these girls so many times before. And we've been together with 10 people like that training race, and it's the size of the training race because the medal race is a bit smaller. So we try to take the nervous, out, just
nervous energy out of
calm. Yeah. And so we couldn't even go too close to the beach because we would get so emotional, because everybody would start shouting. So we're just trying to keep away from that and follow this step by step. So first step was to start, and we didn't fuck it up.
I guess.
Well, the Spanish did. They got caught in the mark in the committee boat, and also right. The Danish. So it was like 2 players already, almost
eradicated.
Yeah, we just didn't want to get last.
So I've got a pretty serious question, not for you, Martine, but for Jordan.
Yeah, mate.
Based on your memory of that particular day, what did you have for dinner that night, mate?
Yeah. Considering you know everything bloody else.
Look, it would have been sausages.
Would have been followed up by ice cream. Yes.
Yeah.
Understood.
Don't worry.
Sorry, Martine.
And some chocolate.
No, because I actually remember you going into the beach and the flag and the whole thing. Like, it's just, it was unreal.
Wonderful.
It was unreal. Because the other thing that's ironic is, as you said, the Danish crew and the Spanish crew got tangled at the committee boat. And so it was literally you two boats. But then, not more than a few years later, Jenna from the Danish boat and Tamara from the Spanish boat are racing you in the Volvo Ocean Race. So we've got to go down that path. So it's the same people you were racing in the Olympic final were racing you on the Volvo Ocean Race. It's quite incredible, really.
Yes, it is pretty incredible. It was really nice as well because, the 49er class
I like that comment. It was nice, yeah.
It was nice, yeah. But we are still very big friends. I think with every new class that starts up, it's very nice to, it's very easy climate. Like some other classes, like 470, it's very heavy and nobody talks to each other. And the FX is so nice that we're still all friends in the water, or on land and not in the water. Sorry. So yeah, it was nice having Tamara's support as well in the start. We had a really turbulent start with Axel Noble, our skipper, being processed and coming back in the day after racing, and I was.
Think we need to go.
No, we're going to.
I think Boise knows. No, we're definitely going there.
We're definitely going there. Yeah, we can talk about this. Because obviously, I'll let Boise lead this question, but if we're going to go down that path, obviously, your dad I know he was really worried on the morning, and because Brad Jones stepped off the boat and he'd done
Jackson.
Brad Jackson.
Yeah, he'd done the ocean race with Brad, and there was
Jonesy.
Yeah, sorry. I got something wrong. I'm sorry.
It's okay. So I've started training. I've got called first to do the Volvo with Mafre, and I did 2 training sessions with them, and it was a very nice team, and I knew it, and they were really professional, even more than I thought. And then when Axel came up, it was Jocka and Brad Jackson, and they both sailed with my dad. Brad he is a very experienced sailor, and Jocka would be, the person that I could recall to, could be my kind of my mentor, or somebody that I could ask honest questions without getting any shit. So when they both left, and also Jules sailed with my dad, when the 3 of them left, it was like, oh, my ground has fallen, and all the things that I was sure had gone away. And I was going through the first leg with people that have only done the race 1 or 2 times. There wasn't a whole lot of experience. So I thought about going to the Southern Ocean with that team. For me, it seemed unimaginable. It seemed like putting my life in risk.
Sorry, Martine. Before we go any further, had you had much big boat experience before you get into the Volvo Ocean Race?
No, I hadn't, and that was it was. So I didn't know if I could do it until we actually started. Yeah, I've always wanted to have done more offshore, and the offshore that we went to do with Mafre when I was sailing with them, we had a shocker and we lost the rig. So like the most time I spent on the boat offshore was 5 days. Besides cruising, I've done a lot, but
so
that doesn't count.
So what was your first sort of, feeling when you got onto this, onto the Volvo 65, and you set it up and you're fully trimmed and you're fully wicked up and you're going? How did it feel to you? I mean, must have been a rush, right?
Yeah, I mean, the first time I got in the boat, it wasn't even training. They were just testing a few things on the boat, and it was pretty wavy. And we're going down with this wave just out of Saint-Jean. And it was like, oh my, this feels right. This feels good. I knew I was gonna have fun and I would enjoy it. But what I didn't know if I could take the hard parts, which is the for me, I thought the hard parts were going to be the storms in the Southern Ocean, but actually it turned out it wasn't. But I didn't know if I could stand so many days.
So what was the hard parts?
Day one, when the skipper steps off, then steps back on. We're going back there, Martine. We're going to talk about it.
But it was easy for Martine because remember, she got the most handsome bloke in the world step on board. Remember, Antonio had to take his shirt off.
Did you sail with them?
No, Antonio Fontes is the Portuguese god.
Antonio Fontes.
What is that?
Antonio, who was on, remember the Scallywag?
It seems like you worship him.
Oh, he was a boatyard.
Nice...
He was in the boatyard.
He was in the boatyard, and he's just got the best hair in the business.
Takes care. Yeah. He takes care.
I sailed against him in the minis. I did okay.
Yeah, it was a
He's a good man.
last moment. Yeah. Otherwise, we couldn't have started the race. We were going to miss too many hands. And it was a very turbulent start of the race for me. But I think overall, the hardest parts were the personal, when everybody was, nervous, and I don't know, when we were losing and everybody was in a bad mood. Those for me were the worst parts.
Yeah.
Because for me, I'm used to, putting the fun into the job and, also making sure the fun is there. And it seemed like a taboo in ocean racing to have fun at the same time you were working. And for me, that was a bit strange, that when everybody was sad, nobody could do like put some music on or something like that.
You might want to go to
You're not talking to the right person there, I tell you.
You might want to do some racing with Bicey. You'll have a lot more fun.
Well, I always thought you could have fun while you're racing.
Well, actually, it is our motto here at Bar Karate. It's our motto here at Bar Karate. It's all about fun.
So we didn't start so well because we didn't have any training, and for me that was so unprofessional. We couldn't do maneuvers properly because we didn't have training on the maneuvers. Nobody knew their role, and for me, coming from Olympic sailing, before you want to start, doing. I don't know, big racing. You need to do the basics. And for me, it was pretty like watching. I've been watching some videos from the last race recently, so I could like write down my memories a little bit. And it's just ridiculous to watch us. Yeah. I just feel so bad. We had so much potential, and we just didn't have training as a crew. Yeah.
You had so much potential about 2 weeks before the start of the race. But you did come back very strong. We must say that.
Yeah, it was pretty beautiful at the end, how we were growing every day. And I think that's the nice part of it.
Oh, I think that.
But for sure, it was a hard thing. For the first 5 legs, I thought about stepping off.
Wow.
And then when we were halfway through the race, I was like, I already did half of it. Now I might as well go until the end.
Was there a key piece of advice your dad gave you? Having been, not necessarily, not even your dad, but maybe some of his good mates, be it Yoka or those guys. Yeah,
I've talked a lot to Kiko. He was the bowman in Brazil 1.
Yeah,
and he gave me the best piece of advice, which was keep your boots dry.
Did you manage to do that?
Yeah, most of the time I would only get dumped by mistakenly having the foot in the wrong angle, and the water would come in.
Yeah, we've all done
Correct.
that. Yeah, we've all done that.
Yeah, and
you're talking to a bunch of people who've all done that.
and by sweating so much as well. So I've really tried to take care of my boots. I think that was the best advice.
Who was the most fun on your boat? Like, if you like fun so much, who did you have the most fun with on the boat?
I think Brad was a very light character. You know, he was very...
Brad Jackson.
But he would...
No.
Brad Farron. I think he was very light person. You know, he would...
He's a good guy.
But he would associate with people and then go towards their mood. So he would go here and there, you know. Some people were very grumpy. I think it's normal in a group, you know, we always have the grumpy person.
You shouldn't talk about Justin like that.
I'm not talking about him.
Yes, we are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
We can probably guess.
I can't talk about that.
He would take that as some praise,
many
actually.
Watches.
That's right.
I didn't have many watches with him.
Okay.
Emily shared most of the watches with him.
Actually,
you should ask her.
I'm going to put it in the show notes, send this to Justin.
No, I think we all know who the grumpy one would have been on that boat.
I think he was a big changer on the boat.
Shouldn't talk about Nico like that.
No.
No, Nico, you know, when we were starting Leg 2 and Nico stepped on board, and I first got told that he was going to step on board, my first reaction was, what? Nico, the guy that ran the boat onto the rocks the last race? And I was like, really? Him? And then that changed on the first day of the race.
I reckon 2 seconds would have changed.
Yeah. Right in the start, I was already liking him. And I think on day 3 or 4 of the bigger leg to Cape Town, nobody had done any cleaning on the boat, and he did a full cleanup, and the boat was nasty. And he said, now we're setting the rotation by numbers. Every day one person would clean, and that was leading by example. You know, it's cleaning the boat, but everything is important in the boat. You know, if it's trimming or taking the water out of bilge, it's both as important as. So for me, that was such a big example. And I mean, that moment I was like, yeah, this guy he's my leader, you know?
Yeah. He's a good man.
Absolutely.
I always have a little bit of trouble following rules. Not orders, but rules, you know. It's not trouble. I need to understand why.
Yep.
And I felt like before the race I had this thinking, you know, that I could follow rules and orders from who I admired and who I respected. And for me, I always try to find reasons for admiring people, you know, and always admiring their job, so that I could take in orders. Because that, for me, is always been my... it's like my rule, you know, is just always find the good things about people, so that I am around, always find what they're good at and not what they're bad at. And I think that's something that is very useful for me, because I always try to learn from people around.
Congratulations to that. That's bloody good. I love that. I love that start.
Yeah, I was gone there for a second.
Hey, and you know that when Nico stepped on, remember that the start out of Portugal, Bossy, you remember, like, how cool was that first night? Like, triple head sails, about 20 metres underwater, you guys just screaming out of Portugal. That was that would have been so much fun on that boat then.
Yeah, well, for me, the start was pretty harsh, actually, because I was riding the main the whole way in the bay and the whole way out. Mm-hmm. And then until, like, almost, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I was putting so much effort because I wasn't strong enough to do the main. And for me, it was super hard to keep up with it. And no, really, I don't think I was strong enough to do the main. And I had such a big headache afterwards because I was just putting so much effort. I didn't even have a drink. And I think afterwards when I got out of the handles, I was like, I think I overdid myself.
Yeah.
And that first sleep, I was so worried about, but I was so tired, I just went to sleep straight away.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I'm
That's how you meant to do it.
I'm pretty sure the team would have accepted your excuse.
Hey, shall we?
But in saying that, just going back to that particular start, for anyone who's listening, go back to that footage, because I will say out of the
I agree.
6 Volvos I've been part of and all the starts, that particular start was one of the best.
It was.
All right, so why don't we pop that link up on our website, Vicey?
Yeah, it's really
Good
nice
idea.
comms as well, and so nice to compare the boats and, the different sails and also some bad maneuvers there, but, some other good ones.
Yep.
It's really nice footage indeed. And it's pretty, it was a game changer introducing the drones, although that image is from the chopper.
Yeah.
I think this race, they introducing the drones mid-race, I think it was definitely a highlight, and all the footage from the Southern Ocean that could never have been done before. So I think it's worth having a check in the
Martine,
videos.
Here we go. I know it's coming.
Speaking of footage, now you have mentioned prior to the show, you've listened to the show before, and you realise we're 3 idiots, right? Now, Jordan calls us idiots, so he's correct there. But is he correct in this statement? In Itajaí, you were so famous to get out of the race village, you had to put a fake beard on.
Yes, I did.
Can you confirm?
Okay.
Deny?
Okay. This is where I go crazy.
There you go.
Please.
So I went away for a little bit in Itajaí. I went home. And,
Was it a
when I
long
was
beard
home-
or a short beard?
No, let her tell a story.
So I had some carnival stuff in my wardrobe, and I had bought that beard many years ago, and I've never used it, and it was to throw away, kind of thing. It was there for a long time in my room. But that moment that oops, are you still there? Yeah, that moment that I passed through that beard, I said, "Oh my God, this is gonna be perfect." So I took it with me to Itajaí when I was there the last time, because I needed to get job done. It's not that I was there and just waving at people. I had to get things done, and I just couldn't move around without having to, take so many selfies. And
you can confirm you wore a beard.
I can confirm.
Yes.
Because I was.
I love it.
Yes.
So I'm
No,
going
it
to
was
ask you again,
so
was
good.
it a long beard or a short beard?
No, it was a full on covering beard and a hat.
And a hat.
And I took my
And sunglasses?
and I took my hair in.
Is there a photo? Is there a photo?
Is so good.
Is there a photo?
Yeah, there is.
Can you please send it to us?
It to us? We're going to put it up.
Sure.
Jordan, absolute beauty.
Yeah.
I believe you 98% of the time, 23% of the 100% seriousness.
Hey, Jade, I've laughed since day one when you brought that comment up.
Yeah, it's true.
And to actually be talking to you now, Martine, all your sailing experience and your sailing achievements aside, the beard is the one.
I think I don't like getting too much attention, to be honest, and I just like to be recognized for
A beard.
just sailing, and and I don't know, different from other people. I just like to do my sailing, and that's it, and have my friends. I don't like excessive attention. So for sure, I loved, in the games, I had all my friends there, and it was a big moment. But
And a beard.
but it was the moment, after the
You needed a
games. And then in Itajaí, I just felt like it was too overwhelming.
So for the
Actually,
listeners,
just Martine.
Idiot. You idiots.
And for the listeners, why this is so funny for us, because when this was first brought up, I can't remember the exact episode.
Episode 7.
No, it was episode 8, actually.
Oh, was it? Sorry, mate.
At 49 minutes. Emily, it was mentioned by Jordan, and Emily Nagel sent a message to us saying that was the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. I fell off my bike in Valencia whilst I was listening to the podcast about Martine having a beard.
I do think we need to explain, though, like for those who haven't been to the stopover in Itajaí, it's a town of 250,000 Brazilians in this little town of Itajaí, and 500,000 of them come to the stopover. It's insane how busy it is.
Unbelievable.
I got another story from that stopover.
How I could explain is that if it was an event in a big city, it was just going to be another event. But because it wasn't a small city, I know it's a lot of population, but Brazil, the numbers are pretty big.
I'm gone.
And I think that even attracted so many people from all the nearby cities. And of course, I was told I was like the main attraction there.
Of course you were.
Brazilian in the race. And
Can I ask you?
I felt I was getting more attention than the team. You know, I didn't.
Did anyone recognise you with the beard on?
Of course, my friends.
No. Anyone else? Anyone say, she's got a beard on. She's got a beard on.
No, of course, people recognized that I was not a guy with a beard, because it was actually very strange. It was almost covering my eyes. But it was totally necessary. I had the day that I used the beard, I managed to escape out and have a nice barbecue with some friends, and have some private time before the start of the race.
Do you still have the beard?
You guys are fixated.
No, I don't think so. I think I left it behind.
All right.
I'll tell you another story.
Leaving it behind. Let's leave this behind.
No, I got another story. It's also happened in Brazil. It was Martine, because she genuinely is very giving of her time and kind, and obviously in Brazil you're inundated with people, and I think you had been talking to, I think it was the Volvo distributor of Brazil or something. I think he and his family were there. I think that's where it's from. And his daughter, you were going to show her on the boat. And then you had to go back to the boat, and then you sort of left them before taking the daughter to the boat. And you went past me and said, Jordan, I've promised this girl to take her on the boat. Can you find her?
I can't remember that.
I do, because you asked me.
Can you find what?
You asked me to go and find this girl I'd never seen or met in a crowd in Brazil and bring her to the boat. So, and then you were...
It's easy. She's Brazilian. She's got a beard on.
Yeah. But this was the thing. And so Martine said it sort of, she was rushing back to the boat, and you were trying to do the right thing. And I'm just going... I've never seen this girl. I've got no idea what she looks like. So I felt like a pedophile wandering around talking to young girls. But anyway, I found her.
I don't understand. I don't remember.
I know you don't remember, but I did it for you anyway. Anyway, I managed to achieve it, and
I was trying to find somebody.
No, you were
asking you to find somebody.
You asked me to find this young girl who was the daughter of one of the sponsors, and I had never met her. You were trying to hide from the crowd. It doesn't matter. It was the world's hardest task that a man had ever been set, but I managed to achieve it. So I felt pretty proud about that one.
Yeah.
All right.
But anyway,
Martine,
so moving on.
Yeah, let's do
obviously.
I did have to do a visit with the Navy on board, because I've been for 8 years part of the Navy in Brazil.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
For me, that was pretty embarrassing. I had to walk all over with white uniform and, get in the boat, and I could just see all the short crew, because I had to ask them to stop what they were doing so I could take the armament on board. And for me, they were just looking at me like, I can't believe it. And I was like, I'm so sorry. But it was very nice for the Navy, I guess. Yeah. But all the guys were pretty pissed off having to stop their work for yet another tour in a boat. And yeah.
Oh, you had the worst shore crew of anyone anyway.
Well, they did a pretty good job in Melbourne. When we had only 4 days, we had to take the rig down and put it back up and glue the mast rack that we ripped off. So I think they did a pretty nice job there.
I was only joking. I'm friends with them all. I was only joking.
So, Martine, moving on from Brazil, obviously one of the highlights was the transatlantic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think
24 hour
I want to go back
record.
just a little bit because we had our first highlight was actually New Zealand and the leg from Hong Kong to New Zealand, which we won.
Yes.
And one funny thing is that when we got to New Zealand, I had a lot of friends from the FX. They were training there. And so we arrived. It was just, it was actually in the middle of the night. It was like 2 a.m. or 4 a.m.
Standard.
But they were all there and they were out in bibs. And they were screaming so much. And when we were arriving, nobody could see anybody. And it was just this big shouting. And everybody in the boat was like, what is that? Who is that? And I was like, I think that's for me. So it was very funny.
Because that finish into Auckland, there was like 6 boats in or 5 boats in under, was it 20 minutes? Or I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
You were all like...
all the boats arrived within an hour.
That's it, within an hour.
To this day, I just love that event. I loved it. I was watching that and I was going, oh my God, what is going to happen here?
So that
I couldn't believe it because we were more than 200 miles ahead or something like very big. And then I could just see the rooting and I was like, no, this is going to lead us all together.
Coming into you. Yeah, exactly.
So what I'm taking from
it
it,
was a big stress that day.
All the 49er FX competitors that were there training were out for you and probably for Tamara and probably for Jenna as well. So, you know, it's good.
Yeah, Jenna was not on that leg because had to crash. Yeah. It's pretty sad.
Yeah, that's right. And then let's get to where Bicey's question while you're taking all your clothes off.
The 24-hour record, how intense was that?
24-hour record. That was pretty cool, actually. Pretty cool, like, because it wasn't that cold.
What was the mileage again?
605.
Yeah, it's around that.
605.
Yeah, but I think it was recorded 604, something like that.
Yeah, it's like
I think rumour has it, though, it would have been 610 if Simeon wasn't steering. No
comments.
My good mate, Simeon. If you're listening, Simeon, can't wait to see you again, old chap. Anyway,
we'll do the usual. We'll get him on the show.
That must have been so intense.
Yeah.
We've seen certain bits of footage, but this particular time, like you say, it was quite warm, flat water, just smoking along.
Yeah, I mean, the Southern Ocean was far more intense than that was because we had just a perfect weather. The wave angle, it was always on the limit of like
perfection.
It was just perfection.
Yeah,
That's the word.
Full speed. It wasn't that much need to grind, you know, but it was just like the spray was very strong, hitting your body. I'm hearing you. That was harsh. But it was a cool leg. I think it was hard for the skippers for having the water in the eyes so much.
Yeah, stuffing.
But yeah, it was a warm leg as well for the boats that went slightly lower. And it was just a 36-hour ride, you know. It was very, very cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Martine.
It's always nice when you're going fast on these boats.
Yeah, no, absolutely. How much steering did you do?
Yeah, I was going to ask the exact same question.
Yeah, I was going to ask the exact same question.
Okay. Not much, actually. I didn't get much steering. I think they tried to do a lot of media whenever I was steering, which I didn't like that much. Because before the race, I didn't get any chance to, do any steering. And then suddenly in the race, they were trying me out. But I felt like it was... I don't know. I just felt like it was wrong because I didn't have any experience in steering, although I really wanted to do it. And I didn't get the chance to learn from it because every time I was steering, it was like those 15 minutes, in the end of the watch and everybody was just chatting around and not trimming the sails properly.
Yeah,
so I felt really bad.
Mongrel.
So, it gave me a very bad feeling actually. And there's a bit of frustration I had from that. But then Nico gave me a steer in the Southern Ocean. And for me, I'm really grateful for him because he made my race,
Perfect.
Those minutes I had steering there made my race. It was just so amazing how the boat just like falls down the wave, and it just suddenly the rudder is so light because it's just going at sudden speed. But when it starts reaching the wave in front, it's so hard not to, try to find a way to escape the wave in front, because you don't want to just blast down the wave and find the wave in front of you and then brake. You actually want to have average high speed. You don't want to go fast and slow, because it takes so much time to accelerate.
Well, that is the actual true philosophy of offshore racing. Is you've got to make sure you balance your speed through those waves, and that's what it's all about. So
so I had a blast there.
And you learned that pretty quick. I mean, when you're talking about, for the listeners out there who probably haven't sailed in the Southern Ocean or in big waves, when you're driving hard into the back of the next wave, finding that place is really difficult. What did you do in your own mind? How did you find that? And it took a couple of times, obviously, but when
I just to jump in.
Okay, go on. Jump in.
My experience with the pen
pointing at me.
Correct. Sailors in general, if you're a helmsman, you're a helmsman. You know where to go.
Absolutely.
Like you're not want someone on your shoulder telling you do this, do that.
Correct.
Do that. You naturally know how to do it. So in the Southern Ocean, when Nico handed over,
he knew.
Feel natural.
Yeah, that's the point.
Of course, a few tips here and there.
Yeah, that's the point I was asking you, Martine.
Yeah, I felt like in stronger winds, it was so much feel. You could drive for the feel, and the waves, you just can't drive for the numbers because it's just ridiculous. But when the wind gets lighter, and then you do have to use numbers a lot, and when the waves don't count so much, and I think for me that was a bit harder driving for the numbers, but for me in the waves it just felt so natural.
Right. Okay.
Just felt like the 49er, because the 49er just can't pitch pull.
Yeah,
and
good
I
answer.
think it's the same thing.
Okay. Did you
to find waves?
Did you get
avoid the wave.
Did you get a wave at all in your experience where you thought, oh no, I'm not going down there?
With a boat?
At any time.
In the Southern Ocean, you can't escape every wave. Sometimes, when the boat gets the final speed, it's just such a narrow angle that you can go up. If you go up, you broach, and if you go down, you Chinese jibe. So many times you do have to nosedive in the waves because the boat will just pop out eventually.
Nice
but
answer.
you can't do a Chinese jibe and broach.
And you can't broach.
Slow, it's just you do so much. So I think you learn a lot just watching as well.
Yeah, I know. I'm just
definitely
relating to my own experience, on the ocean and sailing, and I guess I just wanted to hear your response when you're at that point of no return where the bow is at the top of a wave and you've got nowhere to go. You've just got to go down, and it's like, ugh.
I think it's a matter of, there's let's say a wave is like in 10 parts. The first part and the second part, you accelerate. Oh, hey, I'm back.
Oh, you're back.
If you split the wave in 10 parts, let's say like the first 2 parts, you're accelerating and you still have a little bit of load in the rudder. Yep. And then, part 3 and 4 and 5, probably you're already accelerating, but you have allowance to go up or down a little bit in the wave. And I think that's the critical part where you have to think forwards a lot, where you want to be on the wave in front.
In relation to airflow.
Yeah, because those are the moments that you decide where you're going to hit the wave in front. Because then when you get the speed, you're basically going, where the boat is leading you.
And I guess the big thing is once you hit that wave in the back, you've got to make sure you're going to be able to react to the airflow where the airflow goes. So, I mean,
I guess that's natural to the, I think it's a bit natural to the drivers, I think.
Correct.
To react to that.
That's all I was asking. How, I guess.
So, okay, Martine.
Yeah.
The Volvo Ocean Race is done. Your desire for the next ocean race, or is it Vendée Globe for Martine Grael, single-handed?
No, I don't think I fit for a single-handed. I think I'll just be the person crazy talking to myself. I just couldn't think about doing it alone. I love so much team sports, and I love getting the most out of people, and I love performance. And I think you perform best when you're together, especially for these long rides. That saying that if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. And I think I am definitely for the go far.
I think that's a fantastic quote. So do you want to actually...
If you just jotted that down, Boise, just jot that down.
No, I haven't jotted that down because I believe that's going to be on a flag about to be flown soon for Martine's ocean race campaign. Do you want to announce your ocean race campaign on Barker Road?
No, I don't have... I think anybody can do a ocean race campaign if they have enough funding.
The problem I've got here, I don't see any ginger in there.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you got any red hair? Red hair. It's the ginger challenge. Red hair. Bossy and I came up with it when the Swedish stopover, when we were in Sweden, just thinking you could crowd fund a campaign. And we just need to find a group that people could get behind. And so I just thought, there's so many talented redheads in sailing. You could have a boat just funded by redheads, all the people with red hair. So
you're looking at Jordan and myself. I'm
unfortunately, Martine's from the wrong country.
I can't see because I think
unfortunately, Martine's
you're
from the wrong country, I think.
Yeah, they don't run many redheads in Brazil, do they?
No. There is, but not in sailing.
Hey, let's get serious. With the Olympic stuff, the next Olympics, does it impact you? Are you worried about the pushback on the date at all or not?
No, actually, honestly, we're actually happy because we have so much equipment that we didn't test, and we were going to have only 1 month to test it all in Japan. It was going to happen this month. Yeah. And and now gladly we have a whole year to test it. Yeah. It's just a shame that now everybody's going back to training and we're stuck here with 2 weeks of quarantine. We were in social distancing this whole time. So we actually did a few sails just not to, stop at all.
So who will win? Who's going to win the next Olympics?
I don't know. Still, I think it's for the girls at least. It's very changing all the time, and the girls are it's just going up. The class is just getting more professional, and all the teams are catching up with the techniques of the best teams. So I think it's going to be quite challenging, especially because Japan can be so random with the weather. Yeah. We can have a northerlies and quite flat water, and or we can have the sea breezes with lots of breeze, even with a typhoon coming up and having a 2-day stop for the Olympic sailing. I've asked the head coach of Japan what were the chances of having a typhoon mid Olympics, and she just replied to me, very high, very high. And I'm like, what? Yeah. So you got to be ready for everything.
So conditions aside, obviously that's a level playing field. Everyone has to deal with the conditions. But as obviously you're the current champion. What is your philosophy in terms of trying to not so much think about the fact that you're the current champion, but actually trying to work out how to work forward towards the next goal, whether it be, obviously you want to win, but you just try and get yourself there.
Well, for me, personally, I think I sail the best when we are doing very good as a crew. And I think that's a lot to do with the relationship with my crew. Yep. And when we are feeling good with each other, we do really sail our best. And not every time we're our best, it's super hard to push. Normal. Yeah. To push so much for a long time. We're sailing 8 years together this year, so it's a long time to be pushing each other And I think what happens the most is not that we push each other, but which we push ourselves, and sometimes too much, and it burns out. So we need to take it easy. You know, it was the Volvo. It was a very nice stop, because after the games, we just wanted to go back sailing straight away. You know, in December we were back sailing together because we couldn't keep ourselves, and we started the campaign so strong again. And for me, I was very glad that the Volvo came in, because it was a big break. And then starting over again was a big challenge.
I personally don't think you can win a gold medal without having fun.
Yeah, exactly. It's when the fun goes out, the level also goes down.
Yep. And so my question is, socially, of course, sportively and professionally, you're working with your crew, but socially, do you just hang out and have a good time and spend time with each other's families? And
we did used to have a lot more time together before, but now naturally we want to eventually go away from each other a little bit. And you know, when we have the Europe season, we just stay there. We just don't go back home. Yeah. And kind of his family has a house in Portugal. They go there. And last year I went there, but you know, eventually I try to do my own things as well.
Sure.
To have some, but I do recognize how important it is to have good moments together, because otherwise you've only joined up for the hard moments, you know, pushing and, you know, stressful moments. And then you kind of associate being together with stress.
Yeah.
So it's really important to have good moments together as well.
Cool.
That answers all those questions. Thanks, Martine.
We're nearly out of time because it's getting well past my bed.
We've got another 3 hours.
Well past my bedtime. One of the interesting things I do want to touch on very briefly with you, Martine, is you find or a fan of Shackleton, Ernest Shackleton.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Tell us about the fascination with Shackleton for you.
The fascination is just how keeping the mindset, because if you're in a bad situation, it's really easy for us to go like Axel Nobel, or like, you know, if you just compare Shackletons to the other expeditions that there were from Amundsen and from Scott, and you could see the difference on the mindset, which one is like, oh, today's such a nice day, it's minus 30 degrees, and then you watch the other report and it's like, oh, it's bloody cold and we're starving. And so it's just the glass half full or half empty, you know? And I think that takes a lot of energy on your mind to complain. It's like complaining is like cancer. It just spreads out and fills up with bad mood. And, you know, if you keep your mindset just fresh, you also feel fresh.
It is one of the great...
wise words.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree with that.
Shackleton's feats were, you know, one of the great feats of maritime navigation. There's a few others out there, but Shackleton's is very famous. And when we were in the Newport stopover, there was a boat there in the little fair area they had, where a guy had recreated Shackleton's journey. Did you see that at all?
I didn't see, but I got a gift from a friend they have a museum or something like that.
Yeah.
And I did want to go, but these stopovers, sometimes they're quite rushed.
Yeah, we know. But yeah, so that guy lives near Bicey. So when you're next in South Australia, you can we'll introduce you to him.
So, well, and just a quick little story. He has a little property south of Adelaide, and I think he's, with his environmental cause, he's put 3,000 trees on that particular property. And
that's so cool.
I talked him into a Land Rover Defender, which will absolutely
hang on.
renege.
Who is this? Who is this?
Tim Jarvis. Tim Jarvis. He's very famous. He does a lot of documentaries.
But what he's done, electric engine.
Yeah.
Bravo, Tim.
Bravo, Tim.
So I've always gave a really good thought about the environment, because where I live, it's very polluted. And, this environment thing is, if you keep asking questions, they keep coming up how stupid some things are driven. I was just watching now about the renewable energies, how sometimes they're just not renewable because all the means that they use, to bring that, aluminium, let's say, or the glass or everything, it just takes so much energy to bring that out of the soil.
To produce it, yeah.
To produce it. So it's almost like it's not affordable, and also the windmills.
This is a whole nother discussion.
The windmills as well, they only last like 10 to 20 years. So what are you going to do with all the fans, all the windmills after they're gone?
I think the most important thing that where you're heading with this conversation is that the entire world needs to start thinking more and more and more, and I think
and asking more questions.
And I agree with you 100%.
Well,
it's a massive conversation.
I hosted, and Nick Bice was there in the crowd. As part of the ocean race, we hosted a discussion about exactly these elements on how we can actually recycle those turbine blades and old boats and everything. We sat down.
Recycling fiberglass is not affordable, and it's so many gases that you have to have such a big treatment for the gas that comes
correct.
out.
But there is an enzyme. So 11th Hour Foundation, they have actually working with a research organisation who've created an enzyme which they think will actually be able to break down carbon fibre back to its original source material. So there is progress. I know it's frustrating because what you're saying, Martine's right. Like the pathway is not as simple as everyone thinks it is. If you actually genuinely look at all the elements from the economic equation, but the work is being done. There's definitely people trying to make it better. So, and the other thing is you could build boats out of natural fibres.
The problem is that it's just
get into it.
The good things are not very profitable, And I see a lot of people using the greenwashing in the name of money, and that makes me very sad.
Yeah, we hear.
Yeah, well, if we had video, I was greenwashing myself. I'm having a bottle of beer, a green bottle, and I must excuse myself. But no, you're right, Martine, and it is a big issue, and I think the people that want to make a difference will make a difference. And I think we've got to have a bit of faith in that. I think we're doing good, though, as a society, and we're trying our hardest, and people who care, like us.
But the sailing world really cares, but they're really a little bit hypocrite. How do you call it?
No, hypocritical.
I know exactly. Martine is just trying to hold people accountable. That's all she's trying to say.
Correct.
Let the solution be a genuine solution. Sorry?
Because we raise up the flag a lot, but we do very little with our own world.
So, Martine, there was discussion. We had Guillaume Verdier on a previous episode, and he talked about his views because he's very passionate about the sustainability piece, and he talked about the things that needed to happen at the end of that interview. So I don't know if you'd listened to that one, but it might be worth having a listen. Do you remember did you meet Guillaume at all on the ocean race? She's gone. I think. Have we upset her?
Play it. Hurry up.
And we found Martine, dead battery.
Yes, welcome back.
We were just talking about the environmental piece, and I think we're coming to the conclusion of that. Is there, did you want to sum it up in any way, or just?
I just think we have to, rethink all our acts and, how much resources we're using for everything we're using. And that's an everyday exercise, because it's not only in our industry, which we need to rethink a lot of things, but also in our daily lives, if we are doing the best that we can. Because sometimes it takes effort, to remember some things and realize that we are now throwing that tape away in the water, and it's not right anymore. It's not all right anymore. We have to change.
Yeah. Cool. Oh no, we're on the program too. We agree. Definitely agree. We're sort of right to the end of what we were planning on discussing. We're running out of time.
I've got one more question though.
Hang on.
Of course.
Martine,
Twice he's got something to say.
you want to take this opportunity to announce your next campaign?
No, not yet. I really think to do these things successfully, you need to, you really need to have experience to lead, and I think having a strong leadership is a really big part in this and being successful at the Volvo.
Okay, we'll get back to you. That was a very good answer.
All right. Well,
Not
what
the one we
I'm
were looking
suggesting,
for, but
what I'm suggesting,
congratulations.
what I'm suggesting, Martine, is that you have our private emails, have a chat to us, and then we will organise what your next program is.
Martine, don't worry
Take it
about
from there.
Don't do it.
You'll have your sailing pros or something like that.
I think you have enough experts. You don't need us.
Yeah, you don't need us
telling you what to do.
Hang on. I'm trying to get her into the bar karate management program.
No, it's fun.
I think
You guys gonna put up the campaign and then just leave it to me, and then I'm gonna run it. That's what he's saying.
Yeah,
you're gonna announce it, and then I'll run it.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got
Martine.
the challenge.
But I really
Thank you very
think
much.
that to get into any of these things, you have to do it well. Either if it's the Vendée or doing the Olympics, you can't do these things halfway. You have to dive, head in first.
Correct.
Head first.
100%.
I think I don't like doing things halfway or
the Australian term is half-assed.
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 Half-assed. Okay. Yeah, that's it.
So
you don't want to do things half-assed.
Yeah. The Kiwi term is just doing things normal.
Well, but thank you very much, guys, for having me here, and it was a very nice talking to you guys.
Yeah, it's good to catch up again. We look forward to seeing you, and good luck with the build-up for the Olympics, and hopefully you don't go stir crazy for the next few weeks. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, definitely not being able to sail is a bit hard.
Yeah. All right, Martine. Thanks again. We'll speak to you later on.
See you guys.
Cheers, Martine. Bye-bye.
Peace.
Geez, boys, another great set of conversations there, wasn't it? That was amazing.
Absolutely. I tell you what, she must feel awfully happy that we're going to organise her career from now on. Hey, just in the safety net that we produce, it's phenomenal.
Yeah. Now, we had two tasks. One, we need to send the merchandise back. Two, have we sent the agreements across?
No.
To be signed? Or they've been stuck?
Hasn't been signed yet?
Well, Bicey, I've got some bad news for you. I had to send some documents to Cyprus the other day, as you may or may know. You can probably have a guess why I've got to send some documents to Cyprus. Australia Post has a list of countries that they do not post to at the moment.
Really?
Because of COVID. And so Brazil, I think, is one. So all the documentation is stuck in Oz. So and the pack that we're sending Martine.
All right.
Oh well. Well, she's bound to get her merchandise pack soon. Yeah. So Martine, stick in there. We'll get it to you as soon as we can.
We know you're in lockdown, so just stay safe, champ.
We'll have your program planned and organised. Don't worry.
Poor lass. She is a superstar. And
absolute legend.
She did send, we have got the photo of the beard, just in case anyone's wondering. We have got the photo of the beard, but it was sent to us on extremely confidential grounds. So,
so no one would recognise her in the future?
Yeah, because she can't wear the same beard if we release it.
She's going to keep doing the same disguise. But we'll be able to find her. Yeah, so, all right, well, that's cool. So we look forward to catching up with Martine again and obviously Torben. We know Torben as well. So, I guess we'll just move on from there. And I guess we should say Andrea as well. We know Andrea as well, so the whole family.
Why don't we get a Grail episode on the quiz show?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh,
You've just
yeah.
given a lot away.
Who is the best in Brazil?
Yeah.
It's not a bad call, actually. I like it, BP.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, how was the quiz show
We
preparation
haven't actually
going?
announced the quiz show, you idiots. We haven't announced it. We've talked
How
about
is the
something.
preparation going?
On whatever it is we're doing.
Well, everyone knows now. It's good. It's about halfway through in terms of questions. Trying to find the humour and the right way to ask the question, so it's not just a boring quiz show. It's more of a laugh, laugh.
Don't think that'll be too hard for us to achieve, to be honest. I mean, you blokes are pretty
Yeah,
funny.
but if I keep the questions to just sailing, then it's really hard.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's all. But anyway, we've got a good lineup. We're going to have a good time with that one. So you've kind of given that one away. But let's get to serious stuff.
I'm good at that.
Yeah, I know. It's our secret method.
Get on with it. Come on.
Can I lead us into the most serious
Yep, let's do it.
one? Bar karate beer.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jordan, you had the. Oh, I must admit, I'm jealous.
I got to say, I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about it all week too.
But essentially, you got to visit the owner of the brewery that we're working with, and we'll be announcing this soon. The brewery itself, and also the head brewer.
yep.
And talk us through it. How'd it go?
Yeah.
It went well, actually. Like,
Did you have lunch?
no, we just drank beer.
Oh,
Jeez, what are you talking about?
I thought you would have had some salami and some Spanish jamon.
No, they can't really serve all that stuff still yet, BP. It's not. I don't think they're allowed to do that yet because their whole. Because the brewery, are we allowed to say the name of the brewery?
Yeah, let's say it now. But we'll do an official. It won't be official on the on Facebook or Insta yet, but we can make it official here.
Yeah. So basically, we've sourced a boutique brewery where there's a lot of passion. We can actually go
After
right
lots of work.
Yes. And we can go in and actually touch the tanks and we can experiment, and the head brewer will actually work with us if we want to make a few changes or anything like that. So the brewery is called Slipstream. They're based in Brisbane.
Perfect name.
Yep. Drove down. Yeah, it's actually a really good sailing name for a boat. Drove down. I brought the bride with me, the little blue elephant. I took her down with me. And just in case she had to drive back. And, yeah, just went into this brewery. And this guy started it, Deed started about, I can't remember how many years ago. I think it was about 10 or 12 years ago. And it's just growing and growing from there. And he's about to triple in size. And then I met with Ian. So Deal and Ian Ian's the head brewer. And it was just really, really cool. Like I wasn't sure how it was going to go. But they're just really nice guys. They're just happy to make beer, and they actually listen to bar karate. So it's perfect. It's a good combination. I think Deal's more into it than Ian. Doesn't really understand what's going on, but
What, this karate? What, you keep having fights or something? Are you going to come and have a fight in my brew? Yeah.
So, yeah, we went down. They're about to triple in size, as I said. So we went down and looked at all their facilities, how they can and everything. So we can have it put into kegs or into cans, and their labelling and boxing and then all their different tanks.
Mate. Stop.
Yeah.
So that's the boring shit.
Yeah.
How about the
taste.
beer?
The beer,
taste.
yeah, the beer.
How was it?
It was great. Like everything we asked is what they provided. And then they gave a lot of different samples in and around. Maybe you want to do a little bit like this. So we had an Eastern style beer, a little more Asian style, just to see, had some rice in it. And we had one with lots of malt in it, but no sugar. Like I think all of their beers were without sugar, which was good because I know a lot of the mainstream ones carry heaps of sugar in them, and I was thinking, this is going to taste weird. But, the first beer I had, I just went, that's the one. I only tasted one, and I thought, that's the one straight away.
Can I just raise my concern right now?
Yep.
We've sent Mr. Jordan Spencer down for the beer tasting. I do have three concerns, really. The beer, does it either have a chocolate pancake or ice cream taste to it.
Because otherwise it won't pass.
Absolutely not. No.
I don't know. No, you've been part of the game
No.
as well longer than most of us. You know exactly what's needed. And for the listeners out here, this was the brief. It's the beer you need and want to have as soon as you come in off the water.
Frothing for when you get off that water.
You've got dried salt in your eyebrows type thing, and it's just to take the edge off.
As I said, we tried a few different styles, a lot of different styles, and we kept coming back to the first one because that's the first. They gave me the first one because I think that's the one they thought we wanted, and I kept coming back to it. And even the way it looks in the glass is just cool.
Yeah,
like it's
I
not.
think that's also a good part of it too.
Yeah. And they actually said, and the way it looks in the glass, it's slightly cloudy look. So it's not an ale, it's a lager.
Yeah.
But it's got a slightly cloudy look, and the way it goes down your palate, it's just a little tiny bit more creamy.
So it's crisp. It's crisp and cold.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Beautiful. I've got some heading to you guys, so we can actually do a tasting on the show. We'll do 1, 2, 3, so I won't tell you which one's which. Yep. Okay. Yep. So we can all do live reactions. We'll do an episode later on with that. But I think we're there, basically. We just got to agree the numbers. I'd be really happy. And we just got to make sure you guys feel the same way. So we'll have to do it blind.
Really?
Hey?
Well, we soon will.
Well, how are we going to know if we like it if we're blind?
You guys don't communicate that well when you've got a few on either, so it's not the best. We better do it while you're sober.
And then get blind.
No. So it was good times. So that'll be the next step,
Very
guys.
cool.
The next step is we will start to reach out to yacht clubs and people because we're going to try and target opening day. If Hamo Race Week goes on or Early Race Week goes on, we'll maybe reach out to them.
Well, for that matter, any yacht club that any of our listeners are involved in.
Yep. They can all.
If you want to be a part of it, you give us a yell and we'll be a part of that.
Yep. We know it's happening. It's fully stocked for the Hobart. We know
Correct.
that. It's happening, and it should be fun. It should be fun, and hopefully you guys like it.
Bravo. Well done, mate. Well done.
No, well done to you guys.
And well done to the little blue elephant as well for looking after you.
Does that lead us on to our next key point, the T-shirt competition?
Yep. So a valid competition has been held. Votes have been made.
And graphs have been drawn. Have been drawn.
For the listeners that follow us on Facebook, you would have seen our 10 T-shirts, which we put up on the post several times. And I have gone through the numbers, gentlemen.
You or the back office?
I ran it a couple of times.
Are you able to be trusted, though? You've got a vested interest.
That's why I'm asking.
No. I ran it through a few varied different voting systems, the first past the post, the
Brownlow,
2 round, the proportional representation, the ranked, all sorts of things, right? So essentially I defaulted to the Brownlow.
Do you want to explain what the Brownlow is for people?
So essentially, if you're the best player in an AFL game,
Australian rules football, that is.
That's right, Australian rules football.
The entire
if you're
year,
best on ground, you get 3 votes. Second best on ground, 2 votes. Third best on ground, 1 vote. Because multiple people put in their votes. Some just mentioned a singular, others mentioned a rank. So I went through it all, and funnily enough, fairly enough, the winner was the same in all the different systems. But there was a few dark horses that came in second and third. So
just for the listeners out there, if you've not worked with Bicey, he works his ass off. He's always working, he's always thinking, and you can tell he's obviously got not enough on his plate at the moment. He's just created all these checks and systems. So
yeah, copy that.
Yeah, well,
no, I like to devote. I'm not a multitasker. I like to devote a certain amount of time to certain projects, and this is what my time was spent on. But just quickly to go through it, number one was, of course, not the winner. Not the winner.
Oh, okay.
Number one T-shirt, which for the voting process was, of course, a beautiful illustration of take an A4 piece of paper, pinch it on the front, short sides, blah, blah, blah. Number two was our infamous, the Beacon of Cows infamous nosedive with a moon behind it. Number three was a regular anchor. Number four was kind of telling the whole story about the podcast, had the nosedive, had the podcast. Number five, very similar. Number six was similar to two, the nosedive. Number seven was Bar Karate Sailing Podcast. 8, another anchor. The anchors seem to get quite a feature here. Number 9 was a Sailor Jerry's type style anchor. Number 10 was, you could get this in the Harley shop. So, drum roll, please.
Okay, drum roll coming. We're professionals.
Got the symbol?
No, that's it.
Okay. At 20, all right, we'll start with you would say,
hang on.
third place, which is a very special mention to T-shirt number 1.
Whoa.
Take an A4 piece of paper, squeeze it by the short sides at 21% of the vote.
Nice effort, Jay.
Huge effort.
21%. Yep. Good.
Moving into rank number 2 was T-shirt number 6, which was the nosedive, all written in red on the black T-shirt.
Yep.
And taking the win was, of course, or not of course, but taking the win was T-shirt number 2, doing the nosedive, bloke hanging off the back with the moon in the background.
That's the
at
one.
27% of the vote. So very close where it got up there.
Yeah.
But something very interesting. So T-shirt number 2, 27%. T-shirt number 6, 26%. T-shirt number 1, 21%. But if you take away the second and third votes, T-shirt number 1 loses only by 1 vote over the whole thing.
I do want to bring up a point. If you go through the votes and look at the quality of people that put their hand up for T-shirt number 1, it's a pretty big statement there.
What, the 5 sailors?
No, you've got like Liz Wardley's there, Amalia Infante. There's all sorts of people that have put their hands up for that one.
Jay.
So shall we actually do another vote? Shall we rank everyone for their social status, who they vote for?
J-Dog, we're proud of you, mate.
No,
it was a good effort.
No, fantastic. But in going through this, what it has taught us is there's many needs and wants, and they're completely different with everyone who listens.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do, we're not totally sure of the numbers right now, but we'll probably do 50 of T-shirt number 2, 50 of T-shirt number 4, 50 of T-shirt number 1, whatever the case is, and we're just going to do runs like that. I've spoken to a T-shirt man.
Yep.
Limited runs, and that'll be part of our merch package. So.
Yep.
Enjoy. And that'll be coming out in the coming weeks.
We'll also do women's sizes if they wanted.
Definitely.
It helps us if you do want them. We'll work out some way shortly where you can put an order in. We'll have to work out the costing, but we're not going to be charging huge dollars for these guys. We're going to be doing this just to get them out there. But we'll also do limited runs. So if you want them, you're going to have to get in onto them. We don't want to carry stock. We just want to charge through it. We don't expect to make much money out of it. We're not really doing it to make money. It would be nice if we had a little bit just to offset a couple of the dollars that we spent on this thing. But I do want to say, but definitely we'll do. There was a call for the current logo that we use, but Bicey, somebody also sent an email, which I can't find, pointing out a few of the things that we've said in past shows, which would be really good on a shirt. And you idiots for one.
Yep.
You
Good one.
idiots. You
Good
idiots
call.
one we'll put into the little fray. Yep.
I don't know how to pronounce it. Valerie or Valerie Odu.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote in and said he'd like to send us. He had his idea for a shirt, but he can't draw. I said, "I'm just saying, buddy, send it in anyway. Just send us a sketch. We'd love to see it." To Dan and Kendra Campbell, who are in Canada, cruising down to America when I think they can. That was a great email we got from them.
Very excited listeners there.
Yeah, so wherever you are at the moment, we're sending out a lot of love to you. We had some great conversations. We had some great feedback. So very touched.
Really interesting
Well,
to hear a
and
bit about hear a bit about their story, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Finally, about the T-shirts, to David Cawthorne, one of our avid listeners out of Tasmania. Sorry, mate. On the phone for an hour the other day, doesn't get your T-shirt, the one that you want across the line, pal. But it's in the mail. Merchandise package being sent to Tasmania soon.
yeah,
Good
cool.
old Mr. Cawthorne.
All right, so we'll probably have to put one of you blokes can put up a post saying the winner breakdown. Boss, I guess that's your
Yeah, I'll
task.
take that on.
I want to see the graph up there and the
So
allotments.
we'll work out the costs, and if you're interested, go for it. We'd love to see them out there. There will be. I think the whole reason we're doing it is just the thought of walking into a bar and seeing people wearing bar karate shirt or something like that. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool.
With a Baccarati beer in hand.
Yeah, even better. That'd be really cool. We will try and make a tiny bit of money on bar karate beer. I hate to tell you people. We have to make some money at some stage, but I think we will. But it won't be a rip-off.
My kids are telling me that they want new toys.
Okay. The final point we need to quickly touch on, we did ask for some suggested names for the Japanese SailGP team.
Yes.
We had a few good names, but the three that I pulled out from the list one was Phoenix. One is the Red Crowned Crane.
Yes.
Just saying that quickly, or even that logo, just would look really good. And the other one is Shamo, which is a ferocious Japanese bird. Now, that's from Raymond Smith. Shamo. I like that one.
I do too. I think that's the
winner.
Really cool. Well, do we call it tonight, or do we give it?
No, Nathan. We just send it to Nathan. It's up to him.
Nathan.
Well, he'll be coming back on the show. We've already had that discussion. He had a good time. So,
Shamo.
Shamo.
It's a little bit Australian, really.
It's a bit Aussie, isn't it? Exactly.
Shamo.
Yeah, he's definitely from the East Coast. If he was from SA, it'd be called Shammy.
Yeah.
But seeing he's from the East Coast, he's called Shamo.
There you go.
Going for sale today. Oh, yeah, on what? Shamo.
Here comes
Taking
Shamo.
Shamo out for a blast today.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
That sounds good. I like it.
All right, well, that's us, I think, boys. Is there anything else we can think of?
No. All clear from my side, gents. It's been a pleasure once again
Always
to be
is.
chatting to you.
Yeah.
And,
It's always sad at this time of the podcast. In case people haven't worked out, we do this because we just love it. We have such a good time talking to each other. So just a side benefit, the old publishing stuff. But anyway. All right. Well, cool.
Catch you later.
Have we got anything else? Have we got anyone good coming up?
Oh, a couple. Someone.
Yeah. Yep. We have. Just so you know.
got a few in the bank. Put it that way.
It's a crazy time.
Oui.
Oui, oui.
Oui,
Oui,
oui.
oui. Yeah.
Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Was not me. I do
Oh.
not know.
See you, my friends.
See you later.
Yeah, well.
Take me where the